James Murray. We're in the Net News Ledger newsroom. I'm here with Derek Fox, who is running for Deputy Grand Chief for Nishnawbe-Aski Nation. Derek, you've been on the road again. What are you finding out? Where have you been?
Yesterday I was in Pikangikum, and it's the reason I'm wearing the sweater, breaking out a sweat. But I went to Pikangikum early Saturday morning, and I drove to Red Lake, and I headed up a road called NAN Communities.
I've been up that.
Yeah. And I had made arrangements before the incident happened there. Mm-hmm. So it was a matter of good timing. I didn't think that it was an issue that would deter me from attending Pikangikum with my son. So I had made those arrangements about 2 weeks ago, and we got there Saturday morning, and a young man named Kyle Peters, who I played hockey with and against, picked me up, and I had made plans to meet with the Chief Patty Peters. Mm-hmm. And throughout the day, I got to see the community, because I hadn't been there since I was a child with my father. But I got a good glimpse of Pikangikum, the children, the land, and what I saw was very similar to many other First Nations communities in the north. When you're entering the actual reserve, mm-hmm. the land is extremely beautiful. You know, the waters, the resources, and it's majestic. Yeah. And then when you get to the reserve, it's the infrastructure, and the people are in need of just a bit of rejuvenation and inspiration, and that's what I see as a common pattern in the north.
Well, in the community, they've had, Pikangikum tends to get negative press more than it gets positive press. The recent incident with people in the community protesting on a police issue, that's the kind of stuff that makes the front page. Mm-hmm. And the real issues that bring those kind of situations together never really get addressed.
They don't. And I was thinking about that yesterday on my drive back. It's they say Pikangikum's in a state of emergency, mm-hmm. when things like that happen. The truth is, they've been in a state of emergency for a long time, and the issues that continue to plague the community are not seen as issues. I was talking to Kyle and other people within the community, and knowing that they have a high suicide rate, I had asked them, I said, when was the last suicide here? Mm-hmm. And they said it was the Sunday before last. And the way it was said, it was just so common that the suicides occur there. And that if that had happened in my community, or if that had happened in Thunder Bay, there'd be a large outcry.
What should we be doing? What can you, as a future Deputy Grand Chief, for example, in NAN, what can be done?
NAN, they need a voice, a loud voice, an advocate. There needs to be awareness. There needs to be more pressure on the government to bring in programs and more funding towards the social issues. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that NAN doesn't have a voice right now, but it's just more awareness needs to be brought to Pikangikum, mm-hmm. to their issues, because when I talk about the suicides again, it's something that's become so common that it's not reported anymore. And to carry on like those issues are normal within the community, mm-hmm. is not good.
It's a little bit like if we keep doing things the way we've always done them, and we're going to keep getting the same results, we need to be doing things differently.
Yes. And the reason why I say NAN needs a voice is this is coming from the people. This is coming from the people I've talked to. And when I was there, I asked the chief, I asked people within the community. I said, you know, as someone who's running for deputy, what could I do if I'm elected? And that was the response I got. I said, NAN just needs a louder voice for us. Needs more advocacy for us, and we need someone to be pushing those issues. They have projects that are ongoing that have stalled. Mm-hmm. They got the grid line from Red Lake. That was something that was supposed to happen about 10 years ago, and that's something that's stalled. And it was supposed to create 350 jobs. That's one example. They got land use planning. They got all kinds of opportunities with respect to resources and economic development. But nothing's moving right now. So there's a high welfare rate, extremely high. And the thing with Pikangikum is that they get paid every 2 weeks. Not like other communities that are once a month.
Okay.
So what's happening there is that there's bootleggers, you know, being so close to Red Lake.
Yep. So
other communities have issues with prescription drugs or whatever, but Pikangikum, a big one is the alcohol, the bootleg. So they're caught in between trying to stop the bootleggers, the police, our system, and then they got a crisis team.
Yep.
Trying to stop that also. So that's just an example of one of the many issues within the community. And but on a positive note, you know, I don't want it to be all negative. Is with respect to my platform is the language.
Yes.
I took my son there with me, and he made friends with a bunch of young kids. They were kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, and they all spoke Ojibwe as their first language.
Yeah.
And my son's like, he's like, Dad, they're speaking Ojibwe and they're so young. Because in my son's community, they're getting taught Ojibwe in the schools.
Right.
Right. So English is primarily the first language. So I was thinking about it. I was in Ozenburg 2 weeks ago. I was in Pikangikum this past weekend, and everyone speaks Ojibwe. Everyone speaks Ojibwe as their first language. Not just the young people, but the older people too. And within the inner city, you have young people ranging from their teens to their early 30s who can't speak Ojibwe, Ojibwe, or Cree. And I heard some of them say, you know, I'm envious of the young people who can speak the language. And that just made me think it's these people in Pikangikum and Ozenburg, they have a gift. They have the gift of the language. You know, it's something that can be used to make them feel appreciated. Yes. You know, so it's a matter of getting them healthy, and then having them share that knowledge of the language and the land that they possess.
Maybe some of the people from those communities can become the teachers in other communities.
Exactly. Yes. Right. Yeah, and I just found it so fascinating that they're so fluent, these young kids. You know, but they're dealing with a lot of issues that they need to overcome in the meantime, that we need to advocate for. So
that's the process, is getting more advocacy and more funding for programs and resources and making a difference right at the base grassroots level in the communities then. Yes. And as far as the funding, that comes directly from my visit to Pikangikum. It's you know, that's the biggest thing they want is the government to pay attention to what's going on in their communities, and they want more funding for these programs that they have. They don't have any other options except to get these projects going, get funding for their social programs. And I know that with respect to the riot, I can't go into details with
with anything that's happened. It's an ongoing investigation, but I know that the leadership and the people there truly appreciate the police.
Yeah.
The police have saved a lot of lives. So they're working very hard to work together with the police and the people to get this under wraps, and they're concerned about their reputation.
Yeah.
You know, they got to think about teachers coming in next year. They got to fill teacher positions.
Yeah.
Workers in social programs. There's infrastructure programs there. They're building a new school.
Right.
You know, they don't want people to not come to Pikangikum because of this incident that occurred. So there's a mutual respect between leadership and the police, and the people and the police, because I've heard it from the people. They said the police have saved a lot of lives.
So there is hope.
There is hope, yes, and it's the issues that have caused this. It's not any one major issue. It's not anyone's fault. It's always been there, and it tends to explode from time to time.
So the secret is getting some hope, making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, I want to thank you for coming in, sharing with us again, and we'll be talking again as we go closer to the Nishnawbe-Aski election, which is in August.
Yes.
Where are you off to next?
I'm off to the Assembly of First Nations in Montreal. That's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which starts, well, I think it actually starts today, but I'm heading there tomorrow. A lot of chiefs will be in attendance, so that's my primary goal, is just to take in the meeting and the resolutions and see what happens as far as any progress that's made within our leadership.
Thank you again for coming in.
Miigwech.
Miigwech.